It's 6:15 here. I woke up at 5:30. Got the kettle on the boil at the moment, so I'll probably duck out in about a couple of minutes and go and grab that.
Oh, nice. Cool. What time is it there at the moment?
6:12 a.m.
Yeah, well done. Good job getting up this early for this.
Cheers, man. It took some willpower, but we got there.
Yeah, no, well done. It's commitment. It's been it's been a while since we've done one of these, so that's
It has, yeah. Whole gang's back together. If anyone's tuning in, welcome to the stream. We're doing Devil May Cry 5. We're three Kiwis who like to talk about video games and have a website, and just enjoy talking smack about games.
Oh, I need to remember my login. So I made a login to Twitch that isn't the Overcast Gamer one. But of course, I immediately forgot it once I logged out.
Nice.
So I've just started again from the prologue, so if you look at it and think, oh man, what's going on, you're not meant to know yet. I literally just hit it again from the beginning. So that there's no potential spoilers or anything if anyone cares.
Nice.
Well, I've tried my email address and it says that's not linked to a Twitch account, so this is...
That's always a good start.
Going well.
Can you log in with username? Because aren't you Vaderham OCG? Can you log in with that?
Is that what I am? Okay, cool.
I think you are.
I think it's _OCG.
Maybe.
Try that.
I thought it was just Vaderham lowercase and then OCG all capitals. I'm not sure though.
Okay, I'll... Bear with me. Okay.
Publishing that one. I highly doubt we'll get very many Europeans tuning in at this time.
Yeah, not the greatest time for that.
What am I doing wasting my time here? He's got this.
No, it doesn't look right without the underscore.
Alright.
You should not underestimate this demon.
But
after all, it was he who took your right arm.
then oh god, okay, hang on, trouble logged again.
A great deal of power from it.
Riveting.
I don't want to.
I'm leaving.
Don't want to get to that point. Oh, you've got an actual like squealy kettle. That's awesome.
Okay, V. You're an interesting guy, but you're right.
Okay, you might be right because I've tried my email address
That son of a
and
bitch.
try that. No, they use it. Okay. Actually, maybe what I did is I just signed in with Facebook. That feels like something
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have done. That feels like something I would have done. Boom, there it goes. And it is Vaderham _OCG.
Nice.
My memory is not completely shot.
Nice.
So Abe, what part of the European situation are you in? I'm not sure he can hear me from where he is.
Possibly.
fine.
No, I can hear you. I still got my headphones on. I'm in Nottingham, so sort of the Midlands, a little bit higher than the Midlands, I suppose. But I'm near where all Robin Hood and all that sort of stuff happened.
Oh, what did they call that back in the day?
Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep, nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
so just looking after three greyhounds at the moment in Nottingham.
Awesome.
So we've got a little spot here, got a really solid internet connection, which I'm extremely pleased about. Yeah. So next 2 weeks is just going to be exploring Nottingham and making sure these boys and girls are happy with life.
Nice. Is it just me, or did this game kind of come out of nowhere? Like,
It was
I could have
Been
been.
on the boil. Been on the
There
boil
was
for a while.
Yeah, there was some E3 showings, and it's one like if you were interested in the series and were excited for it, you definitely knew it was coming.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to do quickly is just mute you guys so that I can listen to the stream and see whether or not our voices sound at a reasonable level.
Yeah, that's a good call. I feel like we will be a lot louder than the game sound just from remembering what the bars look like, so... May need to turn the game up or else down.
I trust you.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys could maybe be a touch louder, just a fraction louder. But yeah. What happened to this guy's arm?
It got ripped off.
Got ripped off. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
by the dude we're in here to fight.
Is this the same guy from the previous 3 games?
He's the same one from the previous 1 game, because they changed. So, in Devil May Cry 4, they introduced Nero, who's this guy, and you played half the game as Nero and then half the game as Dante.
Right, yeah.
And now in this one, they've gone a step further and introduced a 3rd character as well, who you play as.
Have you got headphones on, Balthazar? Because it sounds like the sounds are coming through your mic.
Yeah, no, I have my headphones on, but the game sound can't come through the headphones because I'm streaming through PC, so the game sound is coming out of the TV.
Right.
I can turn it down. I don't need a lot of sound. I just, you know.
Okay.
It's one of those things. It's easier to play if you can also hear the reactions to what you're doing. In a way. Turned it down.
Definitely, man. Yeah.
I've turned it down to half what it was, so hopefully it won't come through.
Okay, cool. Cheers. Right, so I'm going to jump in the chat as well because I am currently logged in as us.
I gotta say, I do really like the no, one of the things I really like about the animations in this game is even though very short temporary spoiler alert, this prologue chapter is the only one where he only has 1 arm. He has full, complete custom animations for all of his attacks in this 1 mission.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. That's
Like, especially, I really like his gun loading one. Normally, he like how he just does that and puts it under his arm. Normally, he'll, you know, use his other hand to load the shells, but when he's like this, he like holds it in his armpit and stuff like. There's a lot of cool little touches like that most people will not notice, especially the audience of this game. 90% of the people playing won't notice things like that.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Oh, I've got network features on apparently.
Network features.
Does this game have any multiplayer elements to it?
So I don't actually understand. You see how it says they're starring on the side? So what it can do, I believe, is... No, I have no idea. There are network features. There are some weird network features, but it's not actually online. It's like sometimes other characters in the game who at story points fight alongside you, it won't be an AI, it will be a recreation of a player controlling that character in that fight.
Oh.
So it's real weird. Real fucking weird. I don't get it at all.
It records what some other character is, or some real person has done, and then makes the in-game character do that.
Yeah, rather than just their generic AI actions or whatever.
Like a Devil May Cry version of the driver tires from Forza.
I'm back in this.
Like it has the ghost of their gameplay.
I guess.
Going along.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting because, like, what's the point? I suppose is the question.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if you're playing online, you can see the other person struggling and help them in certain ways to make the situation better. It's just like, it's all passive. It seems odd.
It is. I don't get it at all.
Maybe it's just like, hey, this is the best we could do with the time we had, or something. But that would.
Yeah. Hey, we heard you wanted network features, so there you go.
Publisher asked for network features.
Yeah.
Age-old question, fellas. I was listening back to a few of our old streams and old Let's Plays and things.
I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
I mean, you know what I'm going to say, really. What's everyone had for dinner?
Well, I was about to ask what your plans were for breakfast, but for dinner we had Burger King.
Burger King?
Burger King.
King of
burgers. Yeah, they do alright. They do alright.
They do alright, yeah. Multi-billion dollar franchise.
They do okay. To give some context to that, today was quite a busy day. I hired one of those massive log splitter things. So they're like a big deck, and they have a big hydraulic thing that comes down and splits logs. That was awesome to use. It was heaps of fun. But that was basically like a whole day, and Casey was busy with some stuff that she does with her blog, and so neither of us were in the mood for making dinner, and so Burger King slides right into that niche quite nicely. So yeah,
you've got one near where you live?
So there's one in Upper Hutt, like it's...
Oh yeah.
So, I wouldn't call it near. There's this thing that happens in Upper Hutt where you drive into Silverstream, and then you're like, oh cool, we're in Upper Hutt, and then like 3 hours later you're still driving along waiting to get to Upper Hutt. It's weirdly distant, like so far away. So
the eternal, you're in purgatory trying to get to Upper Hutt, just
more or less, yeah. I don't know enough about like religious texts to really carry on this metaphor, but it's that
yeah. It's the Sisyphus pushing the boulder up a hill forever.
Yeah.
Parable.
And then you get to the top of the hill and all you get is Upper Hutt, so it's
Man, what a slap in the face, eh?
Yeah, actually the only reason we went up there was because we had to return the log splitter, so too bad it's like snow.
So tell us about domesticity, Regan. What's the log splitter been for?
Splitting logs.
I get that.
Firewood, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when we bought this place, there were like a bunch of just rounds cut, like so the guy cut down some trees and they were just sitting around. And they had been stacked out just in the yard, stacked up in the yard for like I guess a couple of years now. So they were perfect. So it was just kind of like, hey, it's starting to get cold. Yeah, let's cut some plywood, and I did not regret hiring this thing. It was like $130, and honestly, I couldn't believe how powerful it was. It just smashed through it. That's great.
Is it one of those scary machines where you just can't help but envision your leg or head or arm going in there and just getting
big time
wrecked?
It's basically like it's like, so imagine just a stainless steel bench, and mounted above that bench is just a big hydraulic press, and on the end of that press is just like a triangle wedge, like a metal triangle wedge. So if you had your hand or anything under there, your arm, your leg, like what I'm the point I'm trying to get across here is that it would cut through any part of your body immediately. Like the sheer force of the thing was incredible. So yeah, it was scary. It was scary, but also fun and really satisfying to use at the same time. Yeah.
I love those good sort of boys' toys, right? Those massive bits of machinery, just like something real chunky. I don't know. There's something really satisfying about pressing a button or switching a lever and just having all this pressure just destroy something beautiful.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it doesn't even need to be something massive. Like I feel like there's a thing where anyone who picks up a power tool of any kind or an air tool of any kind, it's like you've got to just be like, you've just got to press the button a couple times before you actually use it. Like you pick up a drill, you always press the drill a couple times before you start using it, kind of thing. It's that same thing. Like it's just that feeling of power that you get from having having something powered in your hand. It's great. Very good. So anyway, yeah, that's been my day. Balthazar, what did you have for dinner?
Chicken tendies and hash browns and stir-fried vegetables.
Oh, nice. That's
a nice combination.
It's almost healthy. Well, it is healthy. It's healthy.
Had
I'm shocked.
This afternoon as well, we realised our fridge is a piece of crap. We need to buy a new one, but it frequently the back wall just freezes over. It's just a sheet of ice back there, and so we took everything out the fridge and tried to get that out today. And you were talking before about the satisfaction of using machinery and stuff. This wasn't machinery, but the satisfaction of when enough of it has melted away at the back that you can just peel the entire sheet off in one giant chunk was good. Just ripping that chunk out there, and I accidentally ripped half of the back of the fridge out with it. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. I was just pulling it, and I could hear cracking, and I assumed it was the ice cracking at the back.
But it was the plastic.
And I was like, man, this fridge is pretty solidly built. Like, there's no way I'm strong enough to just rip the back of the fridge out. But no, apparently.
Totally. Is it fairly old? Because it sounds like the plastic must have been sort of brittle.
Yeah, it's quite old. And the ice had gotten in behind the plastic as well. So that was how the bit that I ripped out actually came out. Like, I could see the plastic that came out actually frozen in the middle of the ice that I pulled out. So, yeah.
Yeah, nah, she's a big job at that point, for sure.
Well,
but yeah, so we've been scouting.
We've got a couple of viewers, fellas, so say hello to Banana and Commander Root.
No. Great.
No. It's very good. If you just tuned in, Devil May Cry 5, Capcom, on an absolute roll. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, RE2 was great. This has been great, what I've played of it so far. Their past 2 releases have been solid. And also, I totally even forgot it was Capcom, but yeah, probably one of my most played games last year was Monster Hunter World, Capcom. This year, they got an expansion for that coming out as well. Like, yeah, they are nailing it at the moment.
They've also, when was Resi 7? I always lose track.
So that was 2 years ago now. I think that was 2017, January 2017.
Yeah.
Really? That long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Time goes fast these days.
And that was a solid game as well. That was.
Yeah,
I gave that game a 10 out of 10 in terms of like perfectly achieving what it set out to achieve. It couldn't have done any better.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that actually. Yeah, you were saying just in terms of like what the game was trying to do. What it was compared to what it was trying to do. You sort of nailed everything perfectly. I remember you mentioning that on one of our podcasts.
Yeah, I mean this game here seems to have nailed the bombacity kind of thing that it should.
Yeah, it's classic over the top.
Yeah.
It's that style. It's just so stylized, eh? Like you've got to love it. Like every part of me feels like I should hate what I'm seeing, but I don't. I'm like, this is awesome.
Well, it's because they're not trying to be anything other than just ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like,
The
they're
fact,
embracing that sort of B-movie.
Yeah, what I love, the fact as well that this song playing right now, this is like the fight theme for the game and the theme song of the game. And a lot of Devil May Cry, right through from the first one, has always been like just double entendres and sort of, sexual innuendos in the way that they hold their weapons or the names of their weapons. Just the fact that this theme song that plays every time you fight is called Pull My Devil Trigger. It's just great. It plays into that as well.
Man. That song is so good. I remember on the Game Awards, I think it was the Game Awards. Yeah, it was the Game Awards. And they had a live performance of it. And when Jeff Keighley introduced it, he's like, "Here it is. You asked for it. Pull my devil trigger." It's such a bizarre song. But I don't know. It suits the game perfectly.
Oh, Jeff Keighley. I think my favourite moment from the Game Awards this year was at the beginning when they obviously put Joseph Fares on there early so that he wasn't, so he wasn't on the main show.
Yeah.
And just Jeff, Jeff Keighley is obviously a fairly soft-spoken. I don't want to say conservative because that carries other connotations, but you can tell that he's like just a relaxed kind of guy. And him and Joseph Fares together on stage is just yin and yang, eh? Like completely different. It's just insane. Well, there we go. That's the intro bit done. Short compared to a lot of games these days.
Yeah, they just want to dump you in the action in these games. They still have more. I would say there's probably, so far from what I've played, I don't know, I'm on like mission 7 or something. And I think it's have more cutscenes than previous Devil May Cry games. They are slowly ramping up the amount of, you know, story sequences in it, but it's still very favourable to the action amount.
What's going on?
I remember playing Devil May Cry 1 back in the day. I think I played some of 2 as well. Didn't like 2 very much. I loved number 1. Didn't expect to love it, but absolutely loved number 1. Fighting those weird like marionette things.
Yeah.
Just creeped me right out. I loved it.
Get one from me. Better get lost. Hey, who are you? Hey, you're gonna get yourself killed.
I want to say I played maybe half an hour of one of these games. I remember enjoying it, but I never played through a whole game. I don't think. Don't know.
Is it sort of a thing in Japanese games, Balthazar, because you probably played the most of them, still the 3 of us, where they often rank you? Like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid has it, Devil May Cry has it, lots of, Revengeance has it, like, the rank thing is quite a common factor for Japanese games.
Very much so.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
And the fact that the highest rank is S, or triple S in this game, but the fact that it goes DCBAS.
Yeah, S is, Metal Gear Solid S is the highest rank as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Japanese thing too? Maybe it is.
Well, I don't know. In this, they name them. So like each rank has a name, and I don't recall what they all are, but S is stylish, and then SS is slamming style, and I think triple S is super sexy style or something.
Slamming style.
Amazing.
It couldn't be more 90s if it tried.
Let's have a look here. Why is S rank higher than A in some video games?
Perfect.
And this is on Quora, Quora.com.
Oh, Quora?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Quora.com.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's an interesting name. I suppose I'm trying to read it and break it up like you would a multi-word, but it's not really working. Anyway, that's the point.
Quora, yeah, I see what you're doing.
Quora. Anyway, so Mark Stamp, been gaming since the mid-90s, says cultural differences. In the English-speaking world, we're used to the alphabetic line that B comes after A, so when used for ranking, an A grade is better than B grade. Yes, thank you for the exposition, Mark Stamp.
Yep.
The Japanese didn't have that due to the way kanji works. They might have adopted the A to D grading system when Western ideas bridge during either the Meiji Restoration or perhaps the post-war restoration. S is the anglicization of an exceptional rank. I don't know what the true Japanese translation is, but whatever it is, an abbreviation, the abbreviation for it might not start with an S in Japanese. His answer is a little bit rambling. I'm just going to go further down and see if there's anything more to say.
I just looked out behind. I've got like this glass door to the sort of outside, 2 meters behind my shoulder, and I just looked over to see how light it was getting, and it's blibbin' snowing.
Oh.
Like big snowflakes coming down at the moment. Did not expect that.
Have you got supplies at the house, or do you have to go out to get food or whatever?
No, I've got food here. Yeah, no, I did a big shop when I got here. I suppose I could talk a wee bit about that. So I've been in Birmingham for the last 2 and a bit weeks, dog sitting. I'm sort of doing that semi-professionally, I suppose. As a means of getting by, because I don't know anyone in the UK. Need a roof over my head and don't want to piss away all my money.
Sure.
So that's a good way to do that. So I've just signed up to a few websites. Now I go around the country looking after people's homes and their dogs. So got a few of those lined up. Been in Birmingham for the past 2.5 weeks looking after 2 Cocker Spaniels and a mini poodle. And after that, I've got one in Nottingham, so that's where I am now. So I jumped on a bus. It was a £7 bus, 14 New Zealand bucks. Came out to Nottingham, and I've been here for 3 days, I think now. So yeah, there's just a little shop down the road, so I go and get all my supplies from there, and just hunker down in my nice wee,
Have you been
at the moment.
going out to any pubs or anything like that to meet the locals or anything? Like that?
Haven't since I've been. Or when I was in Birmingham, I was sort of in a more rural area. I wasn't in the city. I was on the skirts. So there was one pub within sort of what considered walking distance within about 40 minutes.
40-minute walk.
Yeah, 40-minute walk.
Yeah.
And the one pub, the guy whose house I was looking after, he's like, oh no, don't go to that pub. Those guys are dicks. So, okay.
Right, it's going to be a great time here then.
Yeah.
How long were you?
So that house I was there for 2.5 weeks. Lovely, awesome, lovely people, lovely dogs. Had a great time, but also the boiler broke before just as I got there, so I didn't have hot water for the majority of my stay.
Oh God.
Yeah. So was my life.
So showering and whatnot. How did that go down? Just
it was very military style. Let's say it was extremely cold and extremely brief.
good.
Yep. But no, that was good fun because when he got back, I stayed on for a few more days because I didn't have my other sit till the 26th, and they got back on the 23rd. So I stayed on for a few days and helped him set up a surprise party for his partner, in which we erected a gazebo in the front yard, and there was 40 plus people coming, so we had a lot to do. And for someone completely as socially inept as myself, it wasn't too bad. 40 strangers. I actually had a pretty good time. It was good.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Those are the sorts of things that just you being settled as I am, like it's fine and it's good, but things are very repetitive, and so those are the sorts of things that you get when you're living life such as you are. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's sometimes I do crave. I think about it was lovely when I had a guaranteed place to stay and a guaranteed income and all that sort of thing. Yeah, well, I have thought about that multiple times since I left that behind for the next wee while. But at the same time, and then I think I take it for granted now. I'm just like, I can go anywhere, anytime. It doesn't really matter anymore. I'm not using at the whim of anyone else, sort of thing. I'm going to EGX in a couple of weeks, going down to London, got my accommodation sorted out there, going to look after some cats. That was an Airbnb, which I originally went to in London, and then I got on with them so well and with their animals that they're like, hey, come look after our cats and don't pay any rent. It's like, all right, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's epic, man. It's great that you can just live by looking after people's animals and living in people's homes. That's
yeah. I mean, it's. I do need to find something to start making money because I do have to pay for food and I have to pay for transport. So I am currently just slowly whittling away at my backstop. But it's not much. Food's 30, 40 quid a week, and transport is only, I don't know, 20 pounds every couple of weeks. So it's honestly not very much. So if I can find just some freelance work or something like that, or even helping renovate another bathroom, as I did when I lived in Scotland.
You're experienced now. You're essentially a tradesman.
yeah, apparently.
Why do I feel like you're Peppa?
Oh, that's a good story actually. So when I was in Birmingham, and the guy was away, he was in Portugal, and the boiler was broken. He had a tradesman come and look at it. Man, I've never seen a more lazy person in my entire life. Alright, so he arrives at the house, I don't know he's there because the house I'm staying as has those sort of like electric gates, so and you can't see beyond them, sort of like big wooden gates. So I didn't even know he's there. So I get a text from the guy, the owner of the house, saying, "Hey, the guy's there. Can you let him in?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I go out there. The guy's in his van, nondescript white van, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" He's like, "Yeah, good." So he comes along inside, has another cigarette on the way to the house. When he basically eating this thing, like completely nails it back. Gets to the house, looks at the boiler for about 10 minutes, goes back outside. He's like, "Oh, I need something for my truck." Goes back outside, has another cigarette on his way out there, and then has another cigarette coming back. So it's like 4 in the space of about 20 minutes.
Wow.
And then, after he's done something with a wrench, or I don't know how all this stuff works, and then he's got him asked for a cup of coffee. I was like, "What? You haven't done anything."
I'm taking this back.
Oh god. So he's walked in.
I don't know if it's just like a culture clash. British obviously extremely hospitable people. They crank a cup of tea for you any time of day. Anyone will basically do it for you. Awesome. I love it here. I love the the hospitality. But I don't know. That's probably taking the piss a wee bit.
Yeah, a little bit. For sure, man. That's like if he had come out and been like, "Sweet, well it's all sorted. I've put a flim flam in the whatchamacallit and it's now ticking along," and then he's like, "How do you mind if I sneak a cup of coffee?" You'd be like, "Absolutely, mate. I'll make it hot with the hot water you've just produced."
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, exactly.
He's waiting for
Just to come out without having you'd think at least he would be like, "Hey, here's the situation," here's. But to just come out and be like, "Oh, coffee." But a bit much, isn't it?
Oh, I made him one. I mean, I'm not an asshole, but I was also like, I mean, do you really deserve it? That I don't know. That was eye-opening. I'm sure there's tradesmen like that in New Zealand, of course. I haven't encountered them, but I'm sure they're out there. But I don't know. It was just very funny.
Gold. How do we get onto that? Fill us in on the story so far, Balthazar. I've zoned out a little bit.
Killed some shit. There was some backstory exposition, how Nero lost his arm. Cloaked dude came and took it. We're probably supposed to assume, if we've played the previous games, that it's Virgil. Because he said he was taking the arm back, and the arm transformed into Yamato, his sword. But I know Nero and I know Dante, and there's that new fella V in this game, right? Yeah.
The other dude. So who's Virgil?
So Virgil's Dante's brother.
Right.
He was in the first game as the villain Nilo Angelo, is his demon form. Like how Dante can transform into a demon, Virgil transforms into Nilo Angelo. So he's more commonly seen as that. But his sword was the Yamato. It was just a katana, really. He was in...
okay.
I don't remember if he was in 2. He was in 1, 3. I don't believe he was in 4, except simply as the fact that his sword was in 4 and Nero took it and somehow his arm sucked it in. And that allowed him to become Nilo Angelo. But now he's lost that arm.
Man, this is sounding suspiciously like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, we assume it's, Hideo is, the mastermind behind stuff, but maybe it's just a super Japanesey trope that people's arms hold the consciousnesses of other people and other people like to transplant them onto themselves.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe that's just a common Japanese trope, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have both been to Japan. Did you encounter any...
I didn't see anyone who had the arm of someone else.
It didn't come up. It did not come up.
Not exactly what I meant, but we'll roll it.
I mean, it's likely. It's totally likely. Like, the culture there is different and diverse enough that could absolutely be a thing. it might be like, oh yeah, there's a Japanese legend about the Lancelot who lost his arm or something. You know?
Hang on, sorry. What was
Lancelot. The Japanese legend Lancelot, you know.
I couldn't think of any other name. I'm just going with it, all right. But you get my point.
the old samurai Lancelot.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking about it, the Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, he has a funny arm as well.
He does. It's like his arm is like a trick weapon from Bloodborne, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited for that game. That's coming out. I think it's like 22nd this month.
Yeah, it's not far away.
Yeah, it is this month.
Oh, yeah. I'm really. I won't be able to play it at the moment because I don't have a console. But I'm just really excited for that game. Like I don't know. It looks awesome. All the previews I've seen, all the gameplay I've seen.
Is it coming out on everything?
It's great.
How is it?
It's Activision published, so I think it probably is. Yeah.
Oh God, why is it Activision published?
Yeah.
I didn't get that memo.
No, it was extreme. I remember when they revealed it, they had FromSoft logo came out. It was like, whoa, yeah! And then Activision logo came out and it was like dead silence.
So platforms for release for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. So
it is PC. Okay,
so
that's good. I was just PC is what I wanted to know about.
Well, in that case, yeah, I might pick it up on PC as well then.
I might.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if something happened because Bandai Namco were always From's publisher.
Yeah, that's true. But they were Sony, like, Bloodborne was a Sony exclusive, right?
Bloodborne was still published by Bandai, though, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then all the Souls games were,
everything.
they were on everything, and they were also all Bandai published. So yeah, it's weird since it seems like another, Souls type game. It's weird that they've changed publisher.
Activision must have just given them the money.
Yeah, well, Activision needs all the goodwill it can get after bloody laying off like 700 people. Oh man, just giving. Did you guys see how they went about doing that?
They took them all to Disneyland, didn't they? Was that?
I didn't hear about that.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they did. They took. Was it?
No, didn't they they laid off a bunch of people and then they took someone out, some other group of people to Disneyland?
Nah, I'm pretty sure. No, they took the whole company to Disneyland, and then the next day we're like, oh, so we're in a huge budget deficit and we need to lay a bunch of you off. And they were like, well, was that because you just fucking took the whole company? They didn't just take the whole company to Disneyland. They they closed Disneyland for the day for a private function. So they must have spent millions, tens of millions of dollars even on that. And then they were like, oh, so we don't have enough money to keep you all. It's like, well, our fucking salaries weren't as much as you spent to hire Disneyland for one day.
I don't know, 700 people, that'd be a lot of salary.
Yeah, but how many of them are actually paid what they're worth? Probably 5% of those people?
Yeah.
So let's say they were all paid in America, a good wage is like 60k. So let's say that's an average.
You'd be lucky on that in America.
Really?
Oh well, for higher up positions, yeah, that's okay. But for anyone like CS or something like that, I don't know, the States.
Yeah, well, we're talking a mix of developers and product people and...
I'm sure we're talking, literally everything though, right? We're probably talking there probably were some CS people there and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, to give you some context, to pay everyone 60k per year, 700 people, that's $42 million. So, yeah.
But also, at the same time as hiring out Disneyland and then firing all those people, it was them at the same time, wasn't it? Who got a new CEO or something, and gave him $150 million signing bonus.
So was it them who got the new CEO? So the Activision CEO is a guy called Bobby Kotick, and so this is what I didn't know about the Disneyland thing, but they had an earnings call and they basically announced they had their best financial year ever. And then like a day or two later, they laid off 700 people. That's what I heard. I never heard about the Disneyland thing, but
they were doing well.
They were doing extremely well. Even with Destiny, Destiny obviously wasn't doing what they wanted it to do.
Well, it was the same with fucking, what was it called? The Black Ops 4. How they basically announced 2 simultaneous statements. Black Ops 4 on its launch week has made more money than any Black Ops game full stop in its lifespan to date, and then also made the statement Black Ops 4 was incredibly disappointing financially for the company.
Interesting.
So how do you make 2 statements like that? Like, what the
Very confusing.
It made more money than any other game we've ever made before, but it didn't make us enough money.
Sounds like their expectations are set exceedingly high, for Activision. Yeah,
I keep getting confused because EA and Activision, both as bad as each other at this stage, and they both did such they've just had such bad press of late. I mean, that's not saying much considering both those companies, but they've both just been absolute shithouses. Like in the last 6 months, terrible. Like the worst they've ever been, basically.
Yeah.
But obviously profitable, so they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
End of the day.
Oh, whatever.
Balthazar, have you continued to play Anthem?
I have. Played a bit more earlier, yeah.
Has performance issues improved and things like that?
So Anthem is one of those interesting games where, with the amount of attention it gets from people, touting all the problems it has, you have to acknowledge that problems exist, but I haven't first-hand experienced any of these problems that people say exist with the game. Like, the game runs for me, it doesn't crash, I don't get frame drops, I don't get visual bugs. I've literally not experienced... Like, on the launch day, I had some issues, and I spent some time to actually try and fix them, as opposed to just going on Reddit and whinging about them. I did stuff like, I opened the, profile config settings, text document, and, made some changes to, manual changes to that and stuff. It all worked, and now my game runs flawlessly. I don't get frame drops, I don't get disconnects, I don't get infinite load screens. My load screens in general aren't even long. I haven't had any visual bugs. I don't deny they exist because there's no way, that many people are lying about it, but what I will say is that I bet none of those people have done anything other than take to the internet and complain about it. I bet none of them have tried to fix them, because while it's not acceptable that they're in the game to begin with the default settings, it's very quick and simple to fix those issues. I fixed them all with no repercussions and no repeat instances of them popping up again.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of that game at this point, because did you see the other thing where it's been overheating and crashing people, completely flicking people?
And that just amuses me. That's something I can't, I can't ever experience that, because I got it on PC, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, obviously they released it on a console, so they should optimize it for a console, but as soon as they... That's a really cool one. Just keep beating the shit out of that. My initial response was, well, that's what you get for buying it on a console. I don't know how anyone believed that game would function on a console. It's way too demanding. I'm surprised they released it on a console. It's clearly a PC game.
Vanilla PS4, I can imagine that would be taking a toll on that.
Hey, Mike's in the chat. Hey, bro. Good to see you.
What's going on, Sumishi?
With all of that said, though, again, it shouldn't brick your PlayStation.
Yeah, like I said, it's not forgivable. If they're going to release it on systems, they should make sure they work on those systems. I'm just saying, when I heard it was happening, I just chuckled at the people who bought it on a console. Well, that's what you get.
Yeah.
You plebs.
That's crazy. If a vanilla PlayStation 4 can run like Red Dead 2, should be able to run most things.
Yeah.
To be fair, it sounded like an absolute jet plane taking off the whole time I played that game, but you know, it should be doable. So that's nuts, man. Mike says, "How is everyone?" Yeah, we're well, thanks, bro. Well, I am anyway. Early start for me, but there's the that's what I said. Mike says, talking about Anthem. Yes, we are, bro.
Did I break the fucking floor? That's cool.
Mike, are you into Anthem, man? Have you been cranking that? Are you interested in it?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't.
No.
Just because I feel like I talked about it at work one time, and I don't think he played it. Doesn't seem, honestly, like, I'm going to step out as well and say, it doesn't seem like Mike's sort of game. Even though almost everything is Mike's sort of game.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Anthem, I don't think Anthem is.
Yeah, I don't know about Anthem. No, I don't like BioWare or EA.
Fair play, man. Fair play.
It's hard to say. No, interesting. I mean, it's hard to hear someone say they don't like BioWare. I mean, sure, recent, but like Andromeda and now Anthem. But prior to that, man, in my opinion, they were a flawless fucking dev. Neverwinter Nights, Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age.
Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah. Mass Effect, like they knocked and Jade Empire, they knocked it out of the park every single game up to Andromeda.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
And even now, Anthem, I don't see that as a failure. I see that as a shortcoming. I see that as something that needed at least another year in development before they put it out. But I don't see it as a failure on their part. It's an opportunity for them. They can still bring it back. They can still make Anthem another one of their great games. Because it is a live service game with no expansions. They've already said, like, all content is going to be free. So they can make it a BioWare quality game if EA doesn't pull the plug on them and remove, you know, take all funding because of the diabolical launch.
This next comment from Mike is just pure Mike. Finished Dragon Age, but hated it. Like, to
hate it, but yeah, finish it.
If he powered his way through it. Probably got the
platinumed it, yeah.
Exactly, I was going to say, got that platinum, but hated the whole time. That's gold.
Which Dragon Age is that, Mike? Is that the original, or are you talking about Inquisition, or
probably? My money's on Inquisition.
Because Inquisition is apparently quite different too.
Inquisition was very different. Still great. I still loved it. Though, I mean, some of the reasons I loved it were not normal reasons that people would enjoy games. Like, I loved some... I just loved some of the characters, which is a fair thing. But I loved the super controversial opinions of some of the characters. I loved that BioWare fucking went there. And they were just like, yeah, you know, the way... What is it, like... sort of the PC acceptable way of saying things isn't actually the way everyone thinks, and so we're going to have characters in our game who do make outlandish statements that seem, you know, uncultured or whatever, but that's just truly how they believe and how they see the world. And I thought that was just fucking awesome. I respect the hell out of them for doing that.
Yeah, totally, man.
They had a character who backed slavery. Like, legitimately, he was like, his stance was all these people who were fighting to free the slaves. He was like, have you ever been slaves? No. So maybe we should ask the slaves, because all the slaves, they thought the slaves were indoctrinated, because they were like, no, we want to stay here. Even though they were, you know, in slavery. And the dude who was part of your party, not a part of the situation at all, just the party, was like, we should just leave them. Like, none of us have been slaves. We don't know how they actually feel. Only someone who has been enslaved has any right to make a call as to how it feels to be enslaved. We can't presume to know how they feel just because we've always known freedom and want freedom. Like, they've never experienced freedom. Maybe that does seem like an overwhelming thought to them, and they'd rather stick with what they have now. And if that's what they want, we should respect that decision. And BioWare got heaps of flack for saying things like that in a game. I remember when Dragon Age 3 came out, but I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that's really good writing. That's like boundary pushing, you know, generates some conversation. It's not doesn't sit well with everyone. That's the sign of a good writing, of, you know, good art, basically.
Mike said, I remember being wowed when I did something one of my companions didn't like and he yelled at me for a bit. Never really had that happen in another game. Yeah, I think they did that quite well, that like party feeling. The first, Mike has mentioned he played the first Dragon Age, which is going back
Origin, yeah. But Origin was still, Dragon Age Origins was awesome. Like, I'd say it's probably the strongest Dragon Age in terms of character-driven story.
I was just thinking, I was like, man, I haven't played any of these games. I'm going to jump on and see how much they are on Steam. And I was like, Origin.
Well, you know what that means, though, is that if you have some time coming up, like, say, you know, a couple of weeks where you're going to be home a fair amount, it means you can pay $7 for Origin Access and get all 3 of them. And you'll only have them for a month, like, because I subbed to that and then, you know, immediately unsubbed so that I just had it for 30 days and it wouldn't recharge me. But yeah, you get all of those games for the $7. I mean, for you, probably even less than $7, 7 New Zealand dollars. So you'll probably get it for like £3.50 or something.
Oh man, yeah, I'm definitely into that. Actually, I was thinking I don't even have the Origin client, but I do because I've got I've been playing Apex Legends.
Oh no, cool.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you?
I'm terrible. I can't play basically Twitch shooters anymore.
Yeah,
I just can't. I'm too old. I just don't have the reaction time for these games anymore. But man, is it a well-made game, man? It's just, it's fantastic. It's the best. It's my favourite of the battle royale games that have come out by far. I mean, like over Fortnite, overall.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I wish I could get really into it because I could see it being like a game that I could really enjoy, but I just don't have the reaction time, and I just die so easily, and I can't be bothered waiting to get into another match and all that sort of stuff.
I've only got a few 4 wins in it myself, and I'm like the actual, practiced online game player in the group.
You would have to play it with others, right? I find it way better to play when Balthazar and Hannah are playing than just when I jump in by myself. I've only jumped in by myself like twice, and it was kind of dull.
It's I don't know. Most of the time it probably didn't help. It was a podcast game for me, so I'd whack on a podcast and just play it, so I wouldn't even have the sound.
Sound is key in that game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I started getting killed so much, and I was like, I know what's going to make this more fun. Not focusing entirely on this game. Extremely well made, and I love Respawn, so I want to support it.
Man, so Apex was why I subbed to Origin Access, because it was $7 for a month, and if you sub to Origin Access, you got $16 worth of that currency in Apex. So it's like you got $9 free currency basically. You only paid for $7 of it, but also if you're a member, you save 10% off all purchases. And so even though again I paid $7, I got $16 worth of Apex currency and $12 off Anthem, so it fully paid for itself in a discount kind of thing. But because I had it, I noticed Titanfall 2 was on it, so I played through that as well. And that made me sad about Apex, to be honest, just because it's like, it could have been Titanfall 3.
Now that I got it in stock,
man, every time I forget about Titanfall 2 and then I remember that it exists, I don't know. I love that game so much. I remember playing through that and being completely blown away by that. Like, I think that is one of the best video games ever made. Titanfall 2. It's just incredible.
It's so good, yeah.
I remember, I think that was it would have been my game of the year whenever, what was that 2016 that came out?
No idea. Sounds about right.
can't be that far long ago, surely.
No, it was quite long ago, yeah.
Yeah, yep, 28th of October 2016. End of 2016.
Damn.
Mike has mentioned in the chat that he just picked up Modern Warfare 1. I think it's a PlayStation Plus game. This Modern Warfare 1 remastered.
Oh yeah.
PS Plus game this month. Good call, Mike. That game is phenomenal. I played Modern. I bought it. What was it? Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
Oh yeah, and it came with.
Came with that. Yeah, I bought that when it came out. And, replaying that campaign, man. One of the best FPS campaigns of all time, if not the best. I think that's fantastic. So good. Played a little bit of the multiplayer as well, and then I loved that back in the day. But now, again, like Apex, I can't hack it. I just can't sit with the kids with their crazy reaction times. Can't do it.
I find when I'm playing Apex, it's one of those games. I don't yell at the game. I yell at the screen. At myself, I abuse myself. I'm playing that game and I'll just yell, I missed every fucking bullet. Like, I'm just yelling at I'm like, every shot missed. And I'm like, I don't blame the game, I don't blame my opponent. Somehow every fucking bullet I'm firing is just missing. What is happening? Why can I not play games anymore?
Yeah, man, it's hard getting older. It's hard.
King? You?
I just had a memory come up on Facebook. I'll link through to it in the chat. When I bought,
No offense.
I remember when this actually happened. Yeah, no, I was probably working with you guys. Do you guys remember when I bought that miscellaneous box of SNESs and NESs? Like cardboard box full of just
I vaguely remember it.
That just popped up on Facebook as a memory, and the photo when it was on our favourite auction site was just all the shit from the box strewn across the concrete. And for some reason, that was their listings. I just popped a picture of them. Yeah, that just came up on Facebook. I thought it's quite funny.
How much did you pay for that? So two Super Nintendos, two Nintendo Entertainment Systems, two PS1s, a couple miscellaneous Nintendo 64 games. One of them is 1080 Snowboarder, which is
oh man,
an absolute gem of a game. The other one, the sticker is peeled off, so like who knows what that is. Oh no, that's a NES game, SNES game, isn't it?
That's a SNES game. That's that terrible. Do you guys remember when we did our launch stream? That weird 100 games in one thing. That's that.
Amazing. And then you've got what looks to be a Sega Genesis controller there. Three NES controllers.
Yep.
You've got
two PS1s.
Yeah, two PS1s, one PS1 controller. So I don't know how you got more.
Yep. Without the rubber on the analog stick.
Yeah, no rubber, and then two.
No rubber.
Yeah. Did you get Duck Hunt?
No, I got the Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that would have been awesome if you got Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
That would have been rare fine.
But yeah, it didn't come with enough cables, so I had to purchase a couple of HDMI to AV cables off eBay to pair them with my SNES. I'm not sure what. I think most of that is at my parents' house. When I moved overseas, I left to go to my parents' house. They gifted one of those SNESs to my sister's partner. So he got one. I think it was for Christmas or his birthday, something like that. Gave it to him. So he's got one of my SNESs now. Nice. It's his SNES. It's not mine anymore.
Wow, so Mike's just shared a link in the chat there.
Yeah.
Of someone, you guys remember in Titanfall 2 there's the gauntlet at the beginning of the game where you can
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, so someone did it in 12 seconds.
Holy shit. Oh man, yeah, no, I'm watching. Wow.
And it was 12 seconds flat. They're using grenades and things to make them go further. That is incredible.
Honestly, the gauntlet in that game is better than other full games. It really is. Like, I remember playing the Gauntlet for hours trying to get a better time, and I'm not normally the sort of person to do that. It just felt so good. The movement in that and the shooting in that game. It's the closest that it's felt to Modern Warfare 1, which makes sense because Respawn came out of Infinity Ward when Infinity Ward split from, those guys had a massive lawsuit with Activision, and people like Vince Zampella split off from Infinity Ward and formed Respawn, so it makes sense why it feels like that.
So, yeah. I just want to talk briefly about what's going on the actual game here.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool how he picked that big ass demon up and swung it around by
Yeah, right. I didn't. I think that was one of my arms I had. So the first time I played that fight, I couldn't do that. But because I've come back with more upgrades to my robotic arm and stuff, I think it's one of my upgrades that allowed me to... Basically, I charged it up, and I punched him in the leg, and it seemed to knock his leg out from under him, so he fell over, and then, yeah, just picked him up by the tail and swung him around.
That's awesome, man, you're causing a lot of damage to the city. I hope they all have insurance. If
reminds me of Dragon Ball Z. Anytime you're watching Dragon Ball Z, just people hurtling through buildings and smashing, just like, well, about 5,000 people are dead now.
Yeah, I think that was my favourite part about watching trailers for that game Jump Force before it came out, which apparently is trash, but I remember, just watching the trailers and just that, shit's gonna go down when, they're in the middle of Tokyo or something, and then all of a sudden it's like Frieza and Goku join the roster, and it's like, Tokyo's not gonna be standing anymore. If they're here now, that's it, the city's gone.
Yeah. Anyone powers up, even like a tiny key blast, destroy like half of Tokyo.
I was gonna have to pick you out of his,
oh, that was brutal.
tummy teeth.
And it just like drilled into its face.
Yeah.
Catching up on some reading.
Yeah, looks like a real page turner.
Oh man, that guy, that V guy, he's just like, reminds me of the
Kylo Ren?
So,
That's
a little bit, and also like the My Chemical Romance days, and like those sorts of bands. All those sleeve tattoos.
I saw the best description I think I've read for this dude was he's like the ultimate culmination of all the goth kids from South Park just fusing together.
Yeah, he is too. Yeah. Man, now I look at his face. He is Kylo Ren, isn't
he? He is.
That's Adam Driver. Yeah, that's really weird.
He's alive, we'll save him. If not,
the motion capture is fucking great on the faces, though. That's
you can actually, if you get the deluxe edition, you can sub the cutscenes out for live action.
I saw that. And did you also see the people who worked on that feature? Who basically worked on the trailer for that was Jim, Burns, and Dave.
Real?
From Video Gamer. Yeah. They're the production company, Special Gun. They're the ones who did that.
I know, I'm
That's
late.
cool.
Shut it.
Yeah. Wait, so say that again. You can.
Hey, you must be V, huh?
You can.
Hey,
all the cutscenes you can get in live action.
Yeah, and you can choose it in the options, and it will just play them during the game instead of the in-game graphic one. It would be a live action version.
That's
not
cool.
sort of like live action rig, like the mocap studio. Like you can see all the behind the scenes sort of.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I assume it's is it sort of like how when Halo got its remaster sort of thing, you could switch between the original Halo and or select it at the start, and you can either go with the original cutscenes or the rendered cutscenes or the mocap sort of cutscenes. I'm wondering if that's how it works, but yeah,
I think it's
cool feature.
Yeah, I think it's just an option from the main menu, so you can change it whenever you want. I believe
that's really cool.
Awesome. I love that. That's the sort of special feature that I would actually consider pre-ordering or buying a deluxe edition for. Like that sort of stuff's great.
So Mike's just put a good wee share in the chat. So Devil May Cry logo with Kylo Ren on the left, like one of those. I don't know what the middle character's from, but it's great. And then on the right hand side is the cop from that Android game, Detroit Become Human.
Oh yeah.
That dude looks like Jeff Bridges. from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, well, the cop from Detroit was Jeff Bridges, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
It was mocapped from him, and he was the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Quality control sucks
Yeah.
ass, and you know that.
Yeah, who is that kid? The kid in the middle looks like he's from Frozen or something.
Yeah.
I can't see the picture. I could probably get who it is, but
It's
Can't
sort of
see it.
probably like a 12-year-old, 14-year-old kid with short white hair, a blue hoodie, and what looks like snow on the top of his hoodie, or they might just.
oh,
be
is
the
it
design.
is it the dude from? Is it Jack Frost from?
Could be.
Could be from
Just
what?
from that description, just from the Disney movie of Legends or whatever it was, with like
Yeah, it's Jack Frost.
yeah, where it was like Santa Claus as a Russian dude with guns and stuff. It's a weird movie.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was because they did an actual Jack Frost. Oh, did they do a Jack Frost movie? No. Oh, Rise of the Guardians?
Yeah,
Is
that was it. Rise of the
Oh,
Guardians.
I
And
yeah, I
Hugh
remember
Jackman
the
was
scene.
the Easter Bunny, who fought with boomerangs
If I don't see you along the way.
because
Oh, man,
Australia.
that's great.
Because Australia.
I thought,
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I gotta shake the cobwebs
I'm
out.
re- is this game on
I'll
PC?
let you know.
It is,
Give me a
yeah.
cra- It must
Hey,
be
got
it.
any more
Yeah.
questions?
Hmm.
Better ask
I wonder
me
what
now.
it'll be like playing with a mouse and keyboard because I don't have control.
Oh yeah, probably not great. Hey,
Probably not
yeah, I
great,
was gonna.
yeah.
It was one of those ones where it's like I grabbed it on PlayStation just because it's a couch game, you know.
Yeah.
I'd love to play it on PC at better frame rate and everything, but my Steam Link, I have a Steam Link for playing PC games in the lounge, but because it's streaming over the internet, even on fiber, it's it frequently drops the resolution down to like 720 and like heavy populated areas and stuff like that because it just can't stream it at full resolution.
Oh, right.
What am I missing? Oh, that says how many I've got. I need a punchline. Oh, don't tell me there's a little scene each time.
Mike says this lady reminds him of the mechanic.
Yeah, Cindy.
Woman
Yeah.
from Final Fantasy 15. Yeah.
What's her name in this game? Same
Fucking
character, obviously.
Nico.
Has she been in previous Devil May Cry games?
No,
No, she's a new character.
she's just new. She's just the chick who made his arm.
Is she the one from the trailers who... Is she wearing glasses sometimes? Does she wear glasses sometimes?
I think she
Is it the
might.
same person?
I'm not certain though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She
controls
drives the
fine.
van and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, she's the van.
Yeah.
Driver.
Okay, yeah. Same one from the trailers.
Really? Oh, that might. Maybe it was the rawhide. I'm trying to figure out what. But execute the Buster technique. That may be the one that was like. That I picked up the boss and threw him around. Maybe. Punchline. Is that what I have there? Go over punchline. Yeah, because I want to make sure I have one of those arms on that lets me pick shit up and throw it around.
I love the little idle animations in the background. Just gives it a bit more life.
I like how as well. So you can use the phone. You can find phone booths in the map, and if you use those, you call her and she drives to your location. You can just buy items and stuff in the middle of a mission. But I like how every single phone booth has its own unique cutscene exclusive to that phone booth, like for how she arrives. And that's just stuff that, people could never see. Like, I went through several missions without using the phone booth because I didn't need anything. And then it wasn't until later on when I used it again that I was like, oh, hang on. I've missed out on unique cutscenes from this, so I'll hit up everyone I come across.
Move out.
I love that they've taken phone booths. What year is this game set in? That's awesome. That's another just kind of kitschy thing that this game has going for it. I really like that.
So much for teamwork.
So the guy from DMC, Balthazar, the Ninja Theory, is
Yeah.
Ninja Theory?
I think it might have been.
Ninja Theory or Team Ninja, one of them. I think it's Ninja Theory. DMC game is that Nero or is that someone
No,
else?
that's Dante, but that's non-existent
Oh.
Dante. Like, that's because that game was a reboot where they reimagined the whole storyline and all the characters and everything. to try and reboot the franchise because they were out of ideas on how to continue it. But then, for some reason, people hated it, so they undid it. I actually... Devil May Cry is one of those interesting series where I will always say that people are lying through their teeth if they say an older Devil May Cry game is their favourite, because Devil May Cry games are all about the gameplay, and without exception, every single one has built upon the gameplay from the previous and also added new elements. So it's just a series that has gotten better with every single game. The one thing which people will fight me on that is Devil May Cry 2. People hate it, but the gameplay was still a massive step up from Devil May Cry 1, even if you hated the setting and the characters and the story and everything. The gameplay itself, which is why you replay these games, was a step up. And so I don't understand why DMC as a reboot got so much hate, because prior to this one, I think it was the best one. Because the gameplay was the most refined and the most modern. Now that this one is out, this I think is the best one, even though I haven't finished it, because for me these games, who gives a damn about the story? That's not what these games are about. It's about the combat, it's about like the finishing moves and the boss fights and everything. And every game has new technologies and new understandings of the genre that allow it to do new, better things than the last one. So I never understand.
I've only heard good things about DMC, man. Like, everyone I've talked to who's played that game loves it.
It was so... It actually, like, there was one thing it did better. I mean, I haven't played Dante yet in this one. I don't think you get him until quite far through. But... So I'm hoping he has similar fighting to the Dante in the DMC reboot, because so far, I think the combat is better in this one, but not as fluid, simply because of the way that Dante in the DMC reboot changed his weapons, and like you could just keep combos going infinitely by juggling between different weapons, because ultimately, like, you know, when a combo ends, it ends and you've got to start a new combo. But the DMC reboot got around that by having... You could just change weapons mid-combo whenever you wanted, and so it would continue attacking without interruption but start a new combo with that weapon. So you could just infinitely juggle by swapping weapons whenever you were about to finish a combo, and it made the combat just so fluid. And so far this game doesn't have that, because neither Nero nor V have weapon changing.
Oh, okay. V has the... He sort of lets his familiars fight for him.
Yeah,
right?
V's got a real cool fight style that's very unique for a Devil May Cry game, because he stands back. He doesn't directly fight himself. He just stands back, and your buttons control his familiars who you send out to fight. And it's interesting because it kind of makes it feel a bit like there's a delay when you're fighting with him. And like the button presses aren't registering, but it's actually just, you got to remember, like, you pressing that button isn't you making him attack, it's you making him issue an order to a familiar, which then has to get into position and do an attack, kind of thing. So it's like the attack will be instantaneous if the familiar is already right in front of the enemy, but if they're not, it won't be. You will conjure them and then they'll run over to the enemy and go to hit them. So it's at first it's hard to get used to, but actually when you are used to it, it makes a lot of sense, and it is a really cool fight system.
Mike says V stands back and reads poetry.
So he has a devil trigger, and that's how he like empowers his minions to do more damage. And you can fill your devil trigger either by just attacking enemies or by reading poetry. Will just fill the bar straight away. But while you're reading poetry, you move really slowly and can't really do anything and are wide open to attacks. So it's a risky move to pull. The old get your Shakespeare out on the battlefield.
I love that the goth kid reads poetry. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That is the best. I'm loving this game more and more.
Well, I believe the next mission is a V mission. So
excellent.
Get to see some of them.
Now the
Reagan, what have you been playing at the moment, man? I haven't heard much of you.
What have I been playing? Dirt Rally.
Oh, yep. Dirt Rally, yeah.
Been playing Dirt Rally 2.0. As of yesterday, I started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Is that the Greek one?
That's the Greek one, yeah.
How you finding that, man?
So far, so good. I'm very, very, very early on. Done the sort of first, yeah, maybe like I guess the intro missions and not much more. But yeah, it looks really good. It runs really well on the PC, which is cool. Yeah, lots of reference to Greek stuff, which is cool.
I'm really sad about Odyssey basically taking as long as it did to be made, because I love Greek mythology and I would have loved to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey 5-10 years ago when I still cared about Assassin's Creed games. Like,
well, see, this is the thing. I think like it's worth giving a shot anyway, because it's like Assassin's Creed now is different to.
Yeah, but I played the last one and it doesn't look like it's changed anything from the Egyptian one other than the setting.
Yeah, it's fairly.
Yeah, and I didn't even finish the Egyptian one because it got too repetitive and samey.
Right, yeah. I think maybe it could potentially be a little more curated. Like the Egyptian one, I didn't love it. It was okay. But yeah, I mean this one I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt as much as I can and just sort of see if it stands on its own 2 feet, I guess. You know, I don't want to go into it tarring it with the same brush as the Egyptian one just because of what that one was. So
I mostly heard good things about Odyssey, to be honest. I didn't hear much criticism of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should be good, and it's still so much better than like just the cookie cutter Assassin's Creed that have come beforehand. Like
oh yeah.
Like the London one.
Oh yeah, I heard that one was Syndicate, was it?
Syndicate, yeah.
Just not polished, I think. So yeah.
If we got that secret Japanese technology, I would play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because that's another one of those games like Resident Evil 7 that they've got on Switch over there in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've got this thing that hasn't left Japan, that bloody cloud server playing games on PC, like running them on a PC but playing them on your Switch.
Oh right. Wow.
Yeah, it's like crazy technology that they're not giving to the rest of the world.
I love they're keeping that secret. They're like, no, it's not like weapons technology or anything. It's just like the Switch, powering the Switch.
It says it would be the one to get me to play a Ubisoft game again. Which, yeah,
man, Ubisoft are killing it. Don't go tarring them with the same brush as EA and Activision, man. They've been killing it on Nintendo. I've been playing Starlink Battle for Atlas. That's a Ubisoft game. Amazing game. I got it 69% off, $30.
Oh man.
And if you buy it digitally, it's the definitive edition by far, because you don't need the toys, the little spaceships that go in the docks or whatever. It's just a element of the UI. You can just customize all the parts and everything from a menu in the game. So the digital edition is by far the best edition of the game, because it gives you all the customization without needing to buy the toys. And yeah, it's fun, man. It's like, the way I describe it is basically it's No Man's Sky as it is now after years of updates, but that was just how it was on launch and running on the Switch and with Star Fox in it.
That sounds pretty great.
Like you just fly around the galaxy, you fly to planets. It does that whole no loading screen thing where you just fly towards the planet and then drop down through the atmosphere and then you're on the planet kind of thing. And then likewise, when you're on the planet, you just fly upwards through the atmosphere to go back into space and stuff. Except it has a really cool story and Fox the Cloud.
Which No Man's Sky definitely did not.
Yeah. So yeah, awesome, I definitely like, after playing that and then also playing the other Nintendo Ubisoft game, Mario X Rabbids thing.
Yeah.
Man, don't go tarring Ubisoft with that brush anymore. They do good stuff.
I thought they've been doing great stuff for a few years now, eh? Like, basically, since Watch Dogs 2, I think. Yeah, I think you're right, man.
Yeah, then it's been pretty good stuff. I think they've like actually realised that they were turning into a bit of an Activision, you know. So
yeah, I think there was probably a lot of that. That Vivendi tried to take them over. You remember that when
yeah.
corporate tried to take them over and tried to buy them out, and then there was that weird sort of press conference they had where they got everyone on stage, and it was almost like they were like apologizing for something, and like we were like, what is this? Like, what's going on here? But it was sort of like a big team. Yeah, it was at E3. Yeah, they like everyone came on stage, and Eve, the CEO, gave this speech where he's just like, oh, we're all in this together, we're trying to improve, you know, we're doing our best. It was like this really weird tone. It was like, yeah, you guys have made some dumb decisions in the past, but like, it's not that bad. Like,
yeah,
you know, we're
cool, man. Just...
like, yeah, it's cool. Just, you know, do better. Try better. But that was something to do
Spark
with
your ideas up a bit, but
thing. Yeah.
I think that's totally it. Like, even if Activision, they never will, but if Activision started doing gamer stuff, I'm sure they could turn it around pretty quick, you know? Like, I think it's cool to see them actually do better.
Yeah, well, Ubisoft has a face to their brand, right? They have Eve, they have... I mean, Aisha Tyler sometimes. They have,
for better or worse.
They have that crazy Trials guy who always like falls through things, and it's it's pretty hokey, but you know it's fun. They have their panda and their dance. They embrace their shtick, which I think is great.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't understand Trials, eh? Like,
what's to understand, man? It's just motorbikes. Blowing
that's it. Like, wouldn't that get super old super quick? Like, is it really? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just confused by it. Like,
I think it's
a mobile game.
It's a perfect Switch game. Yeah, it's a perfect Switch game. Really, it's something to pick up and have a go, do a few calls, and put back down again. It's nothing more than that. Yeah. I don't think it's too much to understand, man. It reminds me of like a Flash game or something like that.
Flash game.
I mean, that's how it started, right? The original Trials was a Flash game on Newgrounds or whatever.
Was
or
it?
Miniclip or something. I'm certain it. Well, I played it on Miniclip at least. I don't know.
There was a game called Elastomania, which
I'm
not sure if that was
in the chat. He's saying that Elasto bike game back in the day was really fun. Which
okay, that'll be Elastomania was a Flash game, and then became like a thing you could actually download to your computer, like an executable. After a while, so I'm not sure if that's what they based it on, or if there was another Trials.
You want me to follow you?
Predecessor sort of thing. So, yeah, Elastomania was awesome. You were on a motorbike. You had those sort of like bouncy physics, and you had to collect apples and get to the flower. It was the weirdest idea, but I loved it. It was great.
These scissor pictures.
This area reminds me of Devil May Cry 1. Very sort of like old mansion aesthetic.
Yeah. There's always the old mansion. Like this is this whole starting kind of section of the game. There are a lot of areas in it that feel a lot like the Devil May Cry reboot.
Oh, okay. Is that lady? Well, not lady. Has that spirit thing got like gardening shears?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Reminds me of Clock Tower.
Oh god, that game. I think I just broke one half of that. I did. Now it's a sword.
Oh, that's cool. So Mike was saying in the chat he's getting hyped for Cyberpunk again.
Oh yeah.
Mike, is that due to the PlayStation just released some little featurette thingies where they went into... I mean, they called it the making of Cyberpunk, but you don't get to see anything more than we've already seen. Just a few more vox pops and things. But yeah, absolutely, man. I'm the same. I went back and I watched Easy Ally's reactions to that trailer again, and I watched the trailer alone, and yeah, I've been delving back into that sort of stuff. Just can't wait. Here's a question. Do you guys think it's coming out this year?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No way.
There's so many people like, oh, it's coming out 2019. I'm like, you're dreaming, mate.
There's no fucking way. They've maintained the whole way. Like, hey, it's gonna come out when it's like.
Really?
It's not happening this year.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
I think it's almost ready.
I don't think it's too far off. you know, it's obviously an alpha. They've said that it's playable start to finish. They're just in sort of adding features and polish sort of thing. So
Yeah,
I think we're probably looking at like April next year, maybe like mid next year or something like that.
yeah, that feels more realistic. Yeah, that whole kind of like, oh, we can play it start to finish thing. That sort of, I would kind of assume that still means there's a lot of work to be done. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
Alpha, you know, they've still got to get it.
yeah, it's kind of that whole sort of like 80-20 rule, right? Like, they've done that 80% of the job, but that last 20% is going to take 80% of the time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I
mean, if it came out this year, I'd be happy about it. I'd play the shit out of it. But yeah, I don't know. That would make me put down. Well, potentially, I don't know. I'm just thinking about Pokemon coming out this year as well. I wonder, like, if they both dropped at the same time, which would I play first? Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope you say Cyberpunk, man. Like,
Yeah.
Pokemon's all well and good, but
Played it yet? No. I've been trying to catch all 850 Pokemon.
What do you guys think about? Let's talk about that for a bit. What do you guys think about the Pokemon reveal? Like, a little bit underwhelmed. I was.
Yeah, agreed. It's I mean, to be fair, I'd hyped myself up on the idea that they used Nintendo's engine that they used for. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was a perfect idea. Take Breath of the Wild, put Pokemon in it, change Link to be just Pokemon trainer, and boom, bada boom, bada bing. You've got a huge fucking, you know, huge change to the series. But yeah, no, it's just kind of more-ish the same. Mike, the last Nintendo Direct, they did a specific one to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, it was just called a
about 7
Pokemon
minutes.
Direct, right? Not a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it was. It was about 7 minutes long, and it was all to do with Pokemon. Yeah.
But in saying that, I'll still play the shit out of that game. So
Yeah. No, I'm keen to pick it up for sure. I mean, Switch is one of my only ways of playing games now, PC and Switch. So yeah, 100%.
So Balthazar, you were saying something at work about how, like, this is sort of their plan, right? Like, to kind of keep the mainline
Yeah,
game.
supposedly it's going to be, what, every second year they're going to alternate. So, like, this year is the year of a mainline release again, and then next year will be another sort of experimental release, like Let's Go. So they're going to iterate on the series in their non-mainline franchises, and I believe the idea was they were then supposed to bring the good features from their experimental games that the audience responded positively to into the mainline games, but then they don't appear to have done that because everybody liked the whole no random battles, you see the Pokemon in the world, but they appear to have gone back to random battles.
I would have, like, why not do a full open world, third person, none of this isometric stuff anymore, just boom, open that bad boy up.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like you can sort of travel on more like axes in this new one. Like, you've broken out of the, like, however many, 8 different directions you could walk in the previous ones, and there's, like, you can kind of walk anywhere now. I can't remember whether that was a thing in the previous games, or if you were still kind of. Do you know what I mean? Am I talking sense?
So you can kind of like move everywhere rather than only being able to move left, right, up, down, and diagonally.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yeah. Not grid back sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You've broken away from the grid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if that happened in Let's Play Pikachu or whatever. So.
I think
Pikachu.
I think it might have, to be honest,
Oh, right.
but I'm not certain.
That's what that
They
game was
still have
called,
the
right?
grid going on in what was the one with Hawaii?
Yeah, Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, yeah. Was the grid still going on in those?
I don't know. I never finished those ones. They were a bit crap.
Yeah,
We're a bit crap, eh?
I barely touched it.
They were honestly, they were the evidence that the Pokemon Company shouldn't just be doing the exact same things with no changes in their mainline releases. Because Sun and Moon was so boring. Because they had changed nothing. In fact, no, that's not true. They did try to change something. They fucked with the one thing in the formula no one asked them to fuck with, which was gyms. They were just like, hey, how about instead of gyms, you just walk around and do nothing?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And like, oh, we can't really be bothered coming up with new Pokemon, so let's just put.
Let's do the original ones, but let's just put a blonde mullet on Doug Trio and call it a day.
Oh man, because that's good stuff. It just like think about how good it would be to have a fully open world Pokemon game where you actually have to throw the fucking Pokeballs properly and things like that. Oh, it'd be
Well, they had that Pokeball peripheral for Let's Go.
Oh,
Use
yeah.
that to throw the Pokeballs properly. I'll just play devil's advocate.
Yeah, they did have that, but it was shit, wasn't it? Like,
It was good. I liked it.
Was it?
Yeah, I played it with it. It was good. It was very restricted because it only had one button on it, and it was hard to play the game with one button. But the actual throwing of the Pokeball for catching worked really well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And this is where the
So
stream
you
goes
actually had to
R18.
throw that thing across the room to catch your Pokemon?
Well, it had a little, tassel thing around your wrist, so that it just kind of dropped and everything. But... but yeah, so it was interesting in that they did implement the Pokeball throwing and everything in it, but it was only a half measure because the control couldn't be used too well for the rest of the game.
Tell her, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted. Slightly distracted by what's going on the screen.
Don't do anything I would do.
This reminds me. Is Nier Automata, is that available on PC?
It is.
Yep.
Ooh.
And I believe
Ooh.
the Game of the Nier edition just came out.
Game of the Nier, love it.
I don't think it was. I think that's what
No,
we
I
wanted it to
assume
be
that's not
called.
what it's
It's
called.
actually called Game of the Yoha edition because Yoha is the company that you work for in it.
Oh, okay.
And I guess because they found it confusing to call it Nier Game of the Nier edition.
I'm still confused.
It's just a Game of the Year
Oh,
edition. They just changed year to Yoha.
Right.
Maybe you
Quite
pronounce
pricey.
Yoha
It's
year.
just- It's £30 on Steam.
Ah, but how much
Okay.
is it on Pirate Bay?
I'm not doing that.
To be fair, though, you also need to... Oh, no, I think they fixed it with the Game of the Year edition. Because I know that with the standard edition, if you played it on PC, you needed to mod the shit out of it to get it to work.
Oh, okay.
Because they just didn't bother to actually make it work on PC. They put it out, and then they were like, oh, you guys want to play it in windowed mode, right? At 720p in one side of your screen?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, there's a down thumb on Steam. Can the developer just release a fucking patch instead of making us rely on a mod?
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, okay.
That was posted on the 26th of February, so I don't know. He's
So,
played
yeah,
22
no.
hours of it.
Well, I guess it's because he still enjoys, is still able to play the game. Once you've got the mod
Yeah.
for it, you just need to, get the bloody mod for it, which is terrible.
What does the mod do? Just fix the game?
Pretty much, yeah. Just makes the game playable on PC.
Man. Would you say you need a controller for this as well?
I would say so, yeah.
Damn it. God damn it. Right, that's my next purchase.
Xbox
I'm gonna have to
controller.
do- Yeah, pick up one of those Xbox One PC controller thingies. Yeah.
I love that the character called Shadow has a move called Hedgehog.
Oh,
So
that's definitely not accidental. Eh? Oh, have you guys seen? Speaking of Sonic, have you guys seen the all the stuff to come up about the Sonic movie?
No, I mean I saw the poster for it and it was frightening.
Please tell me it's live action.
Look at his face. It's terrifying.
Oh, okay. They've gone for the real fur thing.
Yeah.
And the real calves. Have you seen those things?
No.
Yeah, right. He's yeah. It reminds me of Flanders when he's wearing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Oh.
He's got this like skin. It's like skin tight fur. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's
It's a. That's what it looks
really
like a
bad.
furry suit. It doesn't look like it's actually his fur. It looks like a furry.
I need links. Can you give me links? I'm trying to
hang
find.
on.
Oh, during promotion. I didn't buy promotion. That was silly.
All right, there's a link coming through the chat.
He has real life fur and human calves. That's brilliant.
Mike, that's a great tail. Have a look at that tail posted. Oh, Balthazar, I wish you could see this.
I will
like
check the links out after I stop streaming.
Awful, like macabre looking. I think it's a taxidermy.
Yeah, it looks like
taxidermied fox.
Yeah, like a really badly taxidermied dog of some kind. Oh.
Yeah, it's just they've labelled it as the sort of promo art for the movie. It says tails, and it's got this horrible looking taxidermied fox or dog or whatever. Yeah, have a look at it when you can. That's really good.
Yeah, not so sure about the Sonic though. He looks.
Do you see what I mean though? It looks like someone in a furry suit as opposed to like
it does.
his hair.
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit disturbing. More disturbing than you know how people were complaining about Detective Pikachu's fur.
Yeah,
it's more disturbing than that by far.
Is it? Am I right in thinking Jim Carrey is the voice of Robotnik? Is that?
Oh my god, if he is.
You and I like to exist, so
I'm sure it was.
I thought, but Robotnik was Jamaican, so that'd be weird. I mean,
What?
I don't doubt that Jim Carrey could do that accent, but Robotnik's Jamaican in the Sonic lore, in all the deep Sonic lore that exists.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't come across as Jamaican. You know, just judging a book by its cover. Just scream Jamaican to me. Interesting.
Okay, yeah. If Wikipedia is to be believed, Jim Carrey is playing Dr.
Dr. Eggman Robotnik. Man, is that in the new movie that's coming out?
In the new movie, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep, Jim Carrey and James Marsden. Is Tom Wachowski? I don't know who that is.
James
Who's
Marsden.
Tom Wachowski?
He was
Sonic 4.
he was Angel, wasn't he? Was James?
Angel?
I'm trying to remember who James Marsden was. I feel like he was the dude who played Angel in the Buffy spin-off show.
Oh, right.
He had frosted tips and shit.
And Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog.
So it is a dude in a suit.
Oh,
God,
it's John Ralphio from Parks and Recreation.
Oh god.
This just gets better and better. Oh man.
Oh, fucking alright, V, his movement sometimes pisses me off. He does this thing where when he starts running real fast, he stops running and just surfs on the cat. Because, you know, it makes sense. But
course, yeah.
it means that you always, like, overshoot where you're trying to go, and you have to kind of turn fucking... Yeah. Just stop moving!
Is that like Witcher movement?
Yeah, it becomes like Roach movement.
Oh man.
After a while, so yeah.
Is he carrying like a cane?
He is, yeah. His weapon is a cane because I don't know, it's really weird. He seems to have these incredible necromantic powers, but is also incredibly frail of body and limps around with this cane. Except when he needs to kill someone, at which point he like leaps 50 feet into the air and thrusts the cane into its skull.
Could this guy get any more pretentious?
Do you want me to I'll read some poetry while these guys fight?
Yeah, do it. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's interesting gameplay. It sort of turns into... It reminds me a bit of Nier, actually, the combat now. Like with the familiars. Sort of that from a distance.
But so they can finish them off they can damage them, but you have to finish them off by walking up to them and pressing circle on them. Like his cane has to finish them off.
Of course.
He also has an ultimate where he just summons the rock titan from Hercules. Just drops out of the sky and fights for him for a bit.
I was just noticing when you do your finisher, air blows in the breeze.
Yeah, of course. There's also, when he uses his super, his hair defies gravity so that it can also turn white, because he wouldn't be a playable character in Devil May Cry if his hair wasn't white at some point.
Exactly. Absolutely. That was half the backlash to DMC, right?
Yeah. There we go, you'll see that scene shortly. Where he gets his gravity-defying white hair.
Man. It's just a smug look on his face. Have we lost Regan? Are you still there?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Loitering. Doing a bounce.
Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, is that the rock man you're talking about?
Yeah. He's more tar than rock, but yeah, he's...
More tar than rock. So what's your plans for today, Abe?
Me?
You're really seizing the day, getting up nice and early.
Yeah, it's still snowing, so not entirely sure. All the dogs are like looking at me like, why I didn't get them up, but they got up with me. So they're like, why did we get up at 5:30 in the morning? You're all just crashed out on the couches.
Just for you to sit around. That must be good fun hanging out with people's dogs.
It is, man. Yeah, I really love the company.
What are the greyhounds like? What are they like as dogs?
They are the most chilled out dogs I've ever met.
Really?
In my life. Yeah, they're so placid, man. Like, you think with greyhounds that it'd be full of energy, but no, they're so lazy. I love it.
I'm surprised by that, for sure. Yeah.
No, they just love. Basically, they'll go for a walk if you know. When we do one walk per day, usually about an hour, up to an hour sort of thing, and they enjoy their walk, but they're more than happy to lay around till then, like just eat and sleep, and that's it.
Did they used to be racing dogs, or have they always been chill?
Yeah, so there's 3 of them. 2 of them are ex-racers, and 1 is a rescue from Spain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was just a street dog, I think, over there. He's a galgo, which is a Spanish greyhound.
Okay.
But yeah, 2 of them. One of them, George. There's a male and a female, George and Susie, and George only has like his canine teeth left because when he was a greyhound, they don't actually feed them any hard food because they feed them proteins and fats and things to make them as fast as possible. So his teeth basically fell out, kind of thing, because he didn't need them for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he only has about 4 teeth left. Fella. But he just gets soft food and other things. They're such lovely natured dogs. I really like this lot.
I'm pleased that they have normal names too, not like running through the trees on a Sunday morning. Is that being one of their names, and then the other one named like my favourite daughter was Sally or something like that,
no. George, Susie, and the other one is Watson, so they've all got pretty regular names.
That's cool, Watson.
Yeah.
That's a good dog name.
Nah, they're super chill, man. They're yeah. I'm just looking behind me, getting the side eye from one of them, man.
Isn't it also cool how, like, with dogs, like, you would have met them, a week or so ago, and now they just are totally happy just to chill out with you, like, no qualms. Great.
Oh, 2 days, man. I've been here for 2 nights.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dogs are best.
I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do today. If it keeps snowing, not much, to be honest. Probably play some games, get my EA Origin access or Premiere or whatever it's called. and probably play through some BioWare games.
Cool.
Okay, that was cool. I don't know if that's happened on the thing yet, but I got a trophy for it as well. I called in my golem dude, and he just destroyed the fucking terrain to get here. Like, he crashed through that building that's kind of in the background. He just exploded through the wall to join the battle. Which is just fucking cool that the like terrain is destructible in that way.
Yeah, man.
I wonder how much stuff you can just completely miss. Like in a fight I was having earlier, I don't know if it was a move I used or something, but I knocked a dude through the floor and we kept fighting on a lower floor. And again, that didn't happen the first time I went through, and there was a secret item like in that room that we broke into. So I wonder how much of the terrain is destructible and how much of the game's secrets, you know, exist in destructible areas.
For some reason, you're just talking about smashing through destructible areas to get secrets. It reminded me yesterday, I was watching the videos and I was like, just for some reason, just randomly popped into my head, I was like, I finished that. I finished that game at some point. I actually played through that whole game and completely forgot that I had until like just yesterday. Oh yeah, I finished Knack.
Did you ever play Knack 2?
I played the demo and really hated it.
I got another secret in here. There we go. So yeah, look, seems like every time you destroy... Oh, how do I get up?
Good on you for giving that a go, like the demo. Like,
yeah, I mean, Knack 1 was, like, it wasn't terrible. It was just really middle of the road, which is, in a way, worse. It's just super boring, and everything was, like, cookie-cutter characters sort of thing. They were all just massive stereotypes, and it was just so boring. The story was boring, the combat was boring. Just like, this is something to kill some time, I guess. And I played through all of Knack.
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it was a PS Plus game, that's why. Something. Actually, PS Plus, speaking of that, they've been doing well for themselves recently. They had The Witness and Modern Warfare 1 remastered as the games this month.
Shit.
And the previous month was I can't remember what they were, but I remember seeing it and being like, oh shit, that's a far cry from like Pixel Blaster or whatever the shite they used to pawn off on you before was.
I found out, would have been, when does it come out? Friday, when I turned on my PlayStation to download this, that I don't have Plus. It just did a thing where it, you know, comes up with an obnoxious message assuming that you want it to continue and telling you it's about to bill you for it to resume.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, or piss off.
That's actually one thing in the favour of the thing. It's really easy to unsubscribe.
Yeah, it is.
You normally have to go through like a million, like, yes, I am sure. No, I don't want 10% off next month. Fuck off. Like, all of these, like, many stages. This just works. It's great. That's what I want. More of that.
I remember on Xbox 360 when you put in your credit card info, it was locked on there, like you couldn't get it off unless you called them.
What? Actually, no, I did know that because as punishment, well, I say punishment, I had to sit in the room while my stepdad was on hold for like 2 hours to cancel the Xbox Live subscription. Like I had on Classic Xbox. Because he didn't want, because it was under his name, so it was his card. Like I would have been like Classic Xbox, you know, I would have been like 12 or something. So yeah, it was his card, and then one, you know, it's one of those things. He just hit me up one day. He's like, "Oh, do you still need this? Can we cancel this?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't play it anymore. We can cancel it." And then he tried to cancel it for ages, and then yeah, it turned out he had to call them up, and he was like, "You're fucking sitting here while I'm doing it, because this is going to take all day, and this is your damn service, so you sit here." And he was on hold for like 2 hours. It was mental.
The gaming equivalent of like catching your kid with a cigarette. Like, you're gonna smoke this whole pack.
You're gonna listen to this whole customer service call to cancel the subscription.
6 months in a leaky boat and all the classics. That's gross. Like, what are you adding little bugs to like this giant?
Yeah, it's like a little
gross.
parasite thing that you stick inside it, and it eats it away from the inside so that you can get past.
I love it. That's great.
It does look pretty good. It's morbid. It's kind of super.
Great fun. I'm super keen to play. I really like the whole vibe and aesthetic. It's just embracing just how silly it is. Anytime a game does that, I'm on its side immediately. Like, yes, that's fine.
Big time.
Secret mission.
Oh man, snowing there. Like,
yeah, it's not. It's sort of raining now, but yeah, there's quite a bit of snow outside. It's yeah, we're still. I mean, where I am now, when I moved south into England, I went from London, from Scotland to London, and man, the temperature, it was a noticeable rise in temperature.
From Scotland to England.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Like I can deal with it here because we actually in England the sun comes out.
Yeah.
It's actually last week when I was in the Birmingham house sit, there was like a week of straight sun. I was sunbathing outside in a t-shirt.
Was that when you made your wee video of you sitting outside trying to play
Metro?
Metro.
Yeah, Metro 2033 on my PC. Just trying to play it outside. Yeah, that was then. It was just bizarre. It was warm. I was loving it.
Was that whole outside thing a gag, or did you genuinely decide that you outside and play the game?
Well, I originally tried to. I tried to play it outside because I was like, man, I really want to be in the sun because I've missed out on sun for 7 months, and I want to play a game. I want to do something quote unquote productive, but I want to be in the sun. So I tried to, and then I was like, man, I can't see shit. It'd be funny to make a video about this.
Yeah. Thought it'd come out here in the sun, but can't see a thing.
Yep.
Gold.
Yep. I was thinking about turning it into a recurring feature, playing dark games in direct sunlight.
Get Dark Souls on Switch. Give that a go.
God, I'd love to pick up that. I've never played the original Dark Souls. I should definitely do that. Are you a Bloodborne fan or a Dark Souls fan, Balthazar?
I definitely prefer Dark Souls. There's a lot more variety. Is why I prefer it. Like Bloodborne, you've got, a transforming weapon in your right hand and a gun in your left hand. That's it, kind of thing. Like, whereas in Dark Souls, there's a lot more weapon variety, which makes the combat a lot more diverse, and there's a lot more stats, full stop, that you can have, which mean that armor sets, since they only have a certain number of stats on them, they're a lot more varied as well in terms of like what builds you can make and everything. So there is a lot, like just almost infinitely more customization options in Dark Souls games as opposed to Bloodborne. Bloodborne's a lot harder, I would say. So if people are in it for that, then Bloodborne does that better. I mean, I play it for the diversity of combat, the ability to play the game twice and play it completely differently each time, and I don't feel like I can do that.
So, yeah, I would have loved to have finished Bloodborne because I really love that game. I love the main thing about that game I love, slight spoilers, the insight mechanic they have is insane. I've never seen anything like that in a game before, where you gain insight and pieces of the world are revealed to you. It's fucking amazing.
I like how, I also like how bizarre that is. Like, you would think that, because the only similar mechanic in games really is, like a sanity bar, but typically raising your sanity bar is the thing that, you know, keeps the world looking normal. But in Bloodborne, raising your insight is the thing that makes all the creepy shit start appearing.
Yeah, I remember in something hospital. There's a level called something hospital. Is that right? Or no, sorry, Cathedral Ward. Cathedral Ward.
Oh yeah, is that thing with the giant frickin'
yeah
Cthulhu mythos looking stuff just standing around?
Yeah, so in Cathedral Ward, before you get inside, you can go to a certain part of it, and you just get picked up out of nowhere and just like slammed on the ground, and it's either insta kill or you lose a lot of health. What the fuck is this? Like, is that a bug? What's going on? And then later on, when I got the insight, yeah, it's revealed there's a bloody like amygdala thing there. You're like, oh, okay, right, that's what was going on. There's a giant blooming monster there that I just couldn't see before, and I was just blown away by that. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, Mike said it's an amygdala.
Yeah. Oh, Bloodborne Mike here.
Yeah.
Mike,
he's the go-to Bloodborne man.
To a Bloodborne Mitchie.
To a fish. So is contempt.
Yeah, I really would love to finish that game, but it just got too hard for me. I couldn't get. Where did I finish up? I can't remember. It was just before the where the people have cages on their heads.
Oh yeah.
Just before. Yeah.
I never finished it either. For me, it was because I got to the final boss, and then the DLC came out, and I decided I wanted to do the DLC before I killed the final. Because it's one of those games, you know, where when you kill the final boss, you start New Game Plus or whatever. And then you need to get up to a certain part in the story again before you can do the DLC. So I was like, okay, I'll do the DLC first. And I got bored of trying to fight that final boss in the DLC, Orphan of Kos or whatever it's called. It was just not a fun fight, I think was the issue. I was no longer enjoying it. It was hard. I don't think it was the hardest fight in a Souls game. I just think it wasn't fun enough to justify how hard it was. Like, it wasn't an enjoyable fight mechanically or anything. It was just frustrating. So I never finished the game at all because I never wanted to go and beat that final boss until I'd done the DLC. Then I'd lock myself out of finishing that DLC.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where I just never ended up finishing the game.
The final boss in Bloodborne, isn't that the dude from the wheelchair?
Yeah, Gurman.
Yeah.
And I got all the things as well, all the brain cells or whatever it is you're meant to get, so that I fight the final form of him or whatever, Blood Moon Gurman, whatever it is.
Yeah, the Blood Moon guy. Yeah.
So it's like I did everything to unlock the true ending, and I just never actually then finished it.
That's one of those games that I feel is. There's not many, because I don't really watch Twitch much, like, at all, but Bloodborne is one of those games where I feel like I would get a lot out of watching someone else play that game, like, only if they've played it, like, if they're playing it for the first time, sort of thing, because there's so many revelations and you know, thought patterns that you go through in playing that game.
I watched a dude play it who, he did a charity stream, and he would do modifiers, so whenever you donated money, it would put a new modifier on, and he had to play that way. So like one of them, for example, was like he had to play with his feet or something like that, holding the controller. And he would have 3 modifiers active at a time. So when he had, you know, a 4th donation or whatever, then one of the older modifiers would come off for the new one. But there was a point where, because it was random what modifiers he got, he used like a random number generator or something, he ended up with just an impossible combination of modifiers and could not play the game. And he persevered, he kept trying until people donated more money. He was like, I would keep doing it, I'm sticking to it, but he was like, someone please, for the love of God, donate something.
Yeah, we're getting. I mean, we got you to play it for the launch stream. What did you think of Bloodborne?
It was alright. At the time, I was not like in a sort of mental state to know how to tackle it. I guess. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't I still haven't gone back and played it properly, like I should. It's one of those games that's like, you know, it's just like it's not all classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright. Maybe I'll play it again one day.
That's alright. Bloodborne, yeah, 10 out of 10, yeah.
I'll probably do one of those things that it'll like, be like, oh, I should go back to playing this game. I should finish the stream or whatever. But that's probably a video. It's like Nier, like it's there's a video that pops up on my YouTube thing all the time, and it's like Nier Automata is masterpiece of never played, and I probably will never play it. Like it's just one of those games. I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't fit my niche, I guess. Is that
No, that's fair enough, man. I remember you not particularly enjoying Bloodborne when
just yeah, I think it was just the pressure of being on stream as well, and only getting
that's
first fucking area, like well, not even that, like not even getting past the first bit. Brutal, and it makes me feel like a bad gamer, you know.
Nah, man, it's just it's a game that I really appreciated for the fact that it broke me out of the stupor that I've been in with games for a while, where they've been just so easy or so hand-holding that you can basically just turn your brain off and play them. In Bloodborne, it was like, nah, man, you're not that. You can't do that here. And I was like, oh, okay. That's sort of like it felt like I'd been broken out of this trance, this sort of like mediocre gaming difficulty trance, and I was like, oh shit, I actually have to pay attention and use skill here.
I have to engage with them things. Yeah.
I really appreciate it for that.
And just the obscure names of the items and things like that, like, and it doesn't tell you what they do.
Yeah. Oh man, the frickin' I remember having to look up and walk through because it was like, got up to the spider, the vacuous spider.
The vacuous spider, best name.
Yeah, it's such a good name. And I got up to that area and it was like, oh, you run off this bridge and jump into the moon, which is like reflecting off the ocean. I was like, what the fuck? what is that? Like,
that's I remember that was cool because that was one of those things, like there are so many like moments in Souls games like that. Like in Dark Souls 1, there's this boss where you step off an edge into a void and you fall and die unless you're wearing a specific ring, in which case you fall and land on the bottom and fight the boss. And so having elements like that, like I knew to jump into, like I knew what areas of the environment, what texts around the environment were, you know, pointing me to do that. Like there is, you know, because there's a library in the building right next to that bridge kind of thing. And there are books strewn around all over the floor. And a couple of them, you know, talk about the moon being full, and one of them is like, you know, jumping into the reflection of the moon for something or other. And so it was one of those things where it's just like, I wonder if, you know, and no certainty to it, just fuck it, let's try it, and then it works, sort of thing. Makes a lot more sense in Bloodborne than in Dark Souls 1, where I'm pretty sure you legitimately needed a walkthrough to know that you had to put on a ring to continue the story, but put on a ring and then jump off a hole that otherwise kills you.
And it makes it such a powerful moment too, because, you know, Bloodborne is that game where you're just doing everything to stay alive, and you're tentatively going through this game, and you're just like, oh shit, like, if I die here, I have to go all the way back, so you don't want to throw yourself off into some unknown void. Like, that's the last thing I'm gonna do.
Alright team, I'm just doing some shopping and then I'm probably going to quit because it's 9:15 and I've work tomorrow and still have to shower and stuff tonight, so...
Yeah, work's good as gold, man. Good as gold.
Do you have work tomorrow, Regan? Because you've got that thing this week, don't you? So
I do, yeah. Well, you know, so I've got work tomorrow, but...
I guess what I meant was, do you have normal time, or are you like, you know, later start or earlier start? 9
to 5 is the timing. So I'll probably be at the office at like 8:30ish, maybe, something like that, for a little bit, because there's a few bits and pieces I have to do to get my computer ready and capable of doing what it needs to do. Yeah. So
All right.
yeah.
Cool. What? Oh, there was one other. I think it was just back on the main menu. I potentially should have started with something, but there is something cool as well, Abe. If you do play this game, there's just a movie on the main menu that's like a catch-up movie. Just like if you haven't played the previous games, here is the entire plot of every game thus far, kind of thing, in a little movie.
I love that.
With, in my opinion, really well done remixes of the themes from each of the games, accompanying the recap of each game, kind of thing.
Awesome, man.
But yeah,
so basically making it super accessible for anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So that anyone can jump in with this as their first one.
I dig it.
Cool, man.
But there we go. That's Devil May Cry 5.
That's Devil May Cry 5. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for those who've been with us. Mike.
As always, Mike. Yeah, it's good to have you, Mike. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's been good to have a good yard with all three of us again for the first time.
It has been actually. We haven't done a podcast for a while. Haven't done a 3 stream for God knows how long actually.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I've got this solid internet connection for another 2 weeks, so I'm happy getting up at 5:30 and jumping in on some of these. There's no problem.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah, keen. So. Anyone listening, go check out the website. It's looking better. It's
getting there.
It's been revamped. Balthazar, have you had a look at it recently? We updated it. We changed the theme and.
I have not had a look since my Anthem preview thing. So
ignore the stream placement on the homepage. I need to do something. Just got to look really hideous there, but the rest of it's looking pretty good.
Cool.
But yeah, we changed the theme over and I reckon it's looking pretty swish. We're getting there. It's not entirely perfect, but I've been dabbling in some CSS, some custom CSS and removing some things. And...
Fancy. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, alright, well thank you everyone for stopping by and we will usually do, are we still doing the 2 streams a week or?
It depends on Balthazar, really.
Yeah, I haven't streamed in a while. I haven't been motivated. Haven't had a game that I've wanted to play, really,
To share with the world, yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm still playing, I mean, I'm sure I will be. It's only, tomorrow's Monday, so it's only one more day. I'll probably stream more Devil May Cry, but, just from whatever I'm up to on Tuesday.
Cool.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, yeah, we usually stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, but keep an eye on the social medias. We've got Twitter and Facebook as to when those pop up, and we'll let you know. Usually 7 p.m. New Zealand time, which translates to 6 a.m. British Standard Time. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you guys in a bit.
Get out there and pull the devil trigger.